Good afternoon. It's time for another NFL Bucky's Mail Day. There's your host, Mike C, of course, and start of the show, as always, it's Gobble Day on Bucky's Mail Day. Say hi, Bucky. Bucky says hi. Gobble, gobble. It's Monday and the week of Thanksgiving. And before I start, I want to wish everybody a very happy and safe Thanksgiving. It's in a couple days. I hope everybody can be with their family and friends and loved ones and have a fantastic meal of turkey or whatever you celebrate it with. Or not beef turkey, but it's about family and friends and loved ones. And here at NFL Bucky's Mail Day, we wish only the best for people. And they're my favorite holidays. And there's football and parades and the dog show and just it's a great American holiday and tradition. Start off with mixed feelings on this week. The Wisconsin Badgers still have not qualified for a bowl game, and they have one more shot. They lost to Nebraska here in Lincoln, 44-25, and the game wasn't even that close. After a while, the offense was just. The defense was not great. The offense had no rhythm, it was just a terrible performance. And defense held on for a while, and they just got tired and they got smoked. Head coach Fickle is in a lot of trouble, and if he doesn't win this week on Friday to Minnesota, it's the Golden Axe rivalry game. It's in Madison, so that'll help a little bit. But Gophers are playing well. They've qualified. Nebraska qualified for a playoff first time, or a bowl game, I should say, in like 5 years, maybe longer, something like that. So congrats to them. His job may be in trouble. He's on a 7-year contract. I think 3 years ago, I believe it was. He's in danger of getting fired. We'll see. Now, the good news, the Badgers got a commitment, a switch on a quarterback who had committed to Michigan. Michigan's gone way downhill, and they play the Ohio State this weekend, their biggest rivalry game. But they got a 4-star quarterback commitment, a switch. And his name is Carter Smith, originally from Pittsburgh. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on that. That's great news. Who's going to coach him? I don't know. But quarterback play has been very inconsistent. Started with the injury, of course. But so there is good news. We'll just have to wait and see. If they win against Minnesota, they'll get, extra time, extra practice, which is very valuable, especially for this team. But we'll see what happens. And we were going to do a video on Friday because the Lions play on Thanksgiving, of course. Then the Badgers play on Friday. So maybe Friday night we might do one. Maybe we'll see. I don't want to wait till Monday because that's quite long, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, we've got one other game to talk about. The Hawks, Blackhawks they're not going anywhere, guys. Their season's just floundering. I watched them play. They can't score. That's a big deal. Christian's on a slump, and they just don't have the talent. And their season's, I won't say it's over, but it's not looking very, very promising at the moment. That being said, Bucky, what in the world do you have in front of you today? Well, since it is Thursday, well, it's not Thursday today, but Thanksgiving is coming up, like I mentioned. We're going to Carla's sister's brother-in-law's house, and it's a new place. They have an assisted living place. They're first time there, and they're gonna have all the fixings, including pumpkin pie. And the only thing they're not having is French dressing, because nobody has French dressing except we do. And so Bucky is representing French dressing with the only sage we have, because sage is the most important ingredient in French dressing. Like I said, it's a Canadian recipe. And so I put a little bottle of sage in front of Bucky. Now, how many videos on YouTube are going to have a bottle of sage in there? Probably not many, so consider yourself lucky. I'm going to make French dressing on Friday. We're going to have that for dinner, and I love making it. It's just tradition, and it's good. It's fantastic when it's done right. And we might get extra turkey. I don't know, but we're going to have French dressing. It's good on toast or bread, and maybe gravy. It's just a fantastic dish, side dish, main dish, whatever. We had it growing up every year. Mom would make tons of it, and it was something you look forward to. And I can't imagine having Thanksgiving without it. I have had it without it, and it just has not been the same. It's like not having lasagna on Christmas. But anyway, last week's video did not do very well. I just checked it a few minutes ago. It's at 5. It's kind of up and down. Last week was okay. Week before was down to 4 or 5, so it's like it alternates. But that's okay. Next week we'll do better. But yeah, next on Thursday, I think it's at 12. It's an earlier time. The Detroit Lions play the Chicago Bears, the Bears, in Detroit, of course. And let me go over some stats and some information that I have. 10 consecutive quarters, no touchdowns for the Lions. They beat the Indianapolis Colts. Where's their score, Bucky? 26 to 6. I didn't have it written down, Bucky. I don't have the Lions score written down. Gee, that's terrible. Oh well. I believe it's 26 to 6. I know they only scored 6 points. Might be 24. I'll write that down. That's my bad, Bucky. I'm sorry. I know they won, and opening drive, the Colts went right down the field, and all game long they were getting big chunks. They're talking 20, 30 yards, sometimes more. And I thought this is going to be a very high scoring game. They have the offense to match that, but geez Louise. But then they held them to a field goal. And then I can't remember if the Lions went down and scored a touchdown, but the next time they had the ball, did the same thing, big chunks, and then they held them to a field goal. And that was the last time they scored the entire game, field goals or anything. So the defense better not break, Bucky. And their secondary is still very shaky. They had a few injuries. I don't think anything really serious. David Montgomery got banged up. He had a shoulder injury. But he's back on the sideline. He should be ready. Again, it's a short week, but he should be ready to go. There's a couple other ones. I think it was Taylor Decker got injured. One of their cornerbacks got injured. Cornerbacks just been snake bitten. I haven't seen anybody called up yet. I'm sure they will. They'll have to. The only good thing is they'll get a little extra time afterwards, but to come back and play in a few days is going to be rough. Now the Bears had a tough game against the Packers. They probably should have won. The Vikings. I'm sorry, they were down. Was 11 points in with 2 minutes left, and they scored. They tied the game up, and they had the ball in overtime. And they did absolutely nothing with it. And the Vikings went right down the field and kicked a winning field goal. And Vikings have a very good score, very good record. Lions are 10-1. The first time, let's see, it's back-to-back 10-win seasons. That hasn't happened in forever. Uh, um, what I got? Uh, most most wins in 2 seasons in the franchise history. So they're setting all kinds of records, and they're still the number one team in the NFL. Kansas City, we watched that game, and Kansas City struggled, but again they pulled it out late in the fourth quarter. A minute, 2 minutes left. Pat Mahomes, of course, is a miracle worker, but the Lions are still the number one seed in the NFC, and they're the number one team in the NFL. And I don't know if they've already clinched the playoff, but they're 10-1, guys. Come on, they should be. Got to be pretty darn close. If they win against the Bears, I can't imagine them not making the playoffs. But it's a fantastic season, and I'm enjoying every second of it. We have to call some people, like I mentioned before, because injuries are starting to. They're not piling up. They're causing trouble, and especially in the secondary. There's some players on there who should not be playing, to be perfectly honest with you, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll call somebody up, maybe somebody off the scrap heap. They can't make trades, of course, but they might be on the waiver wire. We'll see what happens. But they're very good about filling roster spots. They'll probably get a few players back, not in the secondary, unfortunately. Well, they might. We'll see what happens. But wide receivers have been okay. Defensive tackle has been very good. They had 0 sacks in the game, which is a little troubling. They had a lot of pressures. Anthony Richardson is going to be a very good quarterback, but their scheme and their plan for the game was horrible. They started out fantastic, like I mentioned, and they just kind of got away from it, and they pressured them all game. And Lions could have scored more, probably should have, but they won enough, and it was a good victory, not a great victory, but victory is still counts in the one loss column. Doesn't style points don't matter, Bucky. But so we'll see what happens. Like I said, they play Thursday early before the parade's going on. Macy's parade. There's a dog show afterwards. We usually watch some of that. At least 3 games. I know the Giants and the Cowboys play, which is going to be terrible. The Giants are absolutely horrendous, and so that's going to be on. I think there's games on Friday. I know. I said the Badgers play Fridays on Friday, but it's a weird time of year. They always have weird games and weird times. The Saturday games are going to be starting pretty soon. There's still a lot of football left to play, so I don't know if the Lions can maintain this win streak. Can they run the table? I don't know. It's asking a lot. There's some really, really good teams out there. Packers are very good. I watched they pretty much manhandled the 49ers. Have really fallen off. And but the Eagles are very good. So the Vikings, like I mentioned before. So there's your top 4 teams right there. No particular order: Lions, Packers, Eagles, Vikings. The other ones, Falcons are still okay. That the Commanders would have been up there. They lost yesterday, so it's there for the Lions to take. AFC is still, the Chiefs are still going to be number 1. The Bills are a very, very good team, and the Lions have to play them in a couple weeks. I'm not sure when, pretty soon, and that'll be an epic game. I believe it's in Detroit, but that's going to be a huge game. Could be a Super Bowl preview. We'll see. Haven't got there yet, Bucky. But I think that's about it, Bucky. I didn't really take a lot of notes today. I said great news for the Badgers for getting that flip recruit from Michigan, and we'll see what happens with the head coach. Like I said, if he doesn't win on Friday against Minnesota. It could be very dicey. We'll see what happens. On that note, Bucky, weather here is a little cool, not too bad. No snow, so that's always good. So I think that's it. So for Mike Cena, of course, Star Show, as always, it's Bucky. Say bye, Bucky. Bucky says bye. Gobble, gobble. And like I said, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Enjoy the family and friends and the turkey. Don't eat too much. And, you're not going to have French dressing, most likely, but have a slice of pumpkin pie for me. All right, take care, everybody. Bye now.